This morning we want to look at an application that's going to cause us to use the law of cosines. And notice we have a problem here. It says a ship travels 40 miles due east and then changes direction. When the ship has traveled 30 miles at this heading, it is 56 miles from its point of departure. Describe the bearing from point B to point C. Remember, bearing is always off of a north-south line. So let's see if we can draw this picture and what's happening. If we leave, let's call this point A, and it tells us that we're traveling 40 miles due east. You go 40 miles, and then you change direction, and you go 30 miles at this heading. So let's just say we're going to go somewhat north. We don't know exactly how, but we'll just say we go here, and we're going 30 miles, and we're going to call this point B. And it's 56 miles from its point of departure. So this is 56. I'm sorry, I don't want this to be B. I want this to be B and this to be C. Okay, so we are 56 miles from my point of departure. And what I want is the bearing from B to C. In other words, this is the angle I'm looking for. So in order to find this angle, which is off of 90, I first have to find, let's see if I can change this angle. And we can use the law of cosines. We know that we've got three sides of this triangle, so I can use the law of cosines in order to find angle B. And we know the formula is going to tell us that the cosine, let me change colors again. The cosine of B is equal to, we're going to use 40 squared plus 30 squared minus 56 squared over twice 40 times 30. In other words, we have c squared plus a squared minus b squared over 2ca, if you want to put letters to it. And when we plug all this into your calculator, being sure that you're in degrees, we find that B is actually 105.37 degrees. But that's not what the problem asks us to find. It asks us to find the bearing from point B to point C. So bearing is always off of a north-south line. So we know that from here to here is 90. This is our 90 degrees. So if we subtract 90 degrees from 105.37 degrees, we get 15 degrees and 37, or 15.37 degrees. Excuse me, let me get rid of that little. 15.37 degrees. And notice we are from north towards the east. So the bearing from point B to point C is north 15.37 degrees east.